In this video, we're going to talk about the problem with traditional vegetable gardening. Traditional vegetable gardens require an enormous amount of hard work and attention, weeding, feeding, and strict planting schedules. There's also the problem of seasonality, allowing beds to rest during the cooler months, producing nothing at all. Then we are told to plant green manure crops, add inorganic fertilizers and chemicals to adjust imbalanced soils. It takes a lot of time, dedication, and a year-round commitment to grow your food the traditional way. But does it really need to be that difficult? Let me ask you this question. Does a forest need to think how to grow? Does its soil need to be turned every season? Does someone come along every so often and plant seeds or take pH tests? Does it get weeded or sprayed with toxic chemicals? Of course not. Traditional vegetable gardening techniques are focused on problems. Have you noticed that gardening books are always full of ways to fix problems? I found that the solution to most problems simply caused a new set of problems. In other words, the problem with problems is that problems create more problems. Let's take a look at a common traditional gardening practice, and I'll show you how a single problem can escalate into a whole host of problems. Weeds will grow in the empty niche spaces. Quite often, there are too many weeds to pick out individually, so the traditional gardener uses a hoe to turn them into the soil. I have read in many gardening books, even organic gardening books, that your hoe is your best friend. So the message we are getting is that using a hoe is a solution to a problem. However, I would like to show you how using a hoe actually creates a new set of problems. Firstly, turning soil excites weeds' seeds, creating a new explosion of weeds. And secondly, turning soil upsets the soil ecology. The top layer of soil is generally dry and structureless. By turning it, you are placing deeper structured soil on the surface and putting the structureless soil underneath. Over time, the band of structureless soil widens. Structureless soil has far less moisture holding capacity, so the garden now weed needs more water to keep the plants alive. In addition to this problem, structureless soil cannot pass its nutrients onto the plants as effectively. The garden now also needs an addition of fertilizers. Many fertilizers kill the soil biology, which is very important in building soil structure and plant nutrient availability. The soil will eventually turn into a dead substance that doesn't have the correct balance of nutrients to grow fully developed foods. The foods will actually lack vitamins and minerals. The problem has already occurred in modern-day agriculture. Dr. Tim Lobstein, director of the Food Commission, said, "Today's agriculture does not allow the soil to enrich itself, but depends on chemical fertilizers that don't replace the wide variety of nutrient plants and humans need. Over the past 60 years, commercially grown foods have experienced a significant reduction in nutrient and mineral content." Can you see how we started with the problem of weeds, but ended up with the new problems of lower water holding capacity and infertile soils? And eventually, we have the potentially serious problem of growing food with low nutrient content. Traditional gardening techniques only ever strive to fix the symptom and not the cause. However, there is a solution. We must use a technique that combines pest ecology, plant ecology, soil ecology, and crop management into a method that addresses the causes of these problems. This technique must be efficient enough to be economically viable. It also needs to be able to produce enough food per given area to compete against traditional techniques. I have no doubt that this is the way we will be growing food in the future. It's just common sense. Why wouldn't we use a method that produces many times more food with a fraction of the effort? I know it will take a little while to convince people that growing food is actually very instinctual and straightforward, but with persistence and proper explanation, people will embrace this method. Why? Because sanity always prevails. Eventually. Do you want to learn more about organic vegetable gardening? Sign up for our free mini course at www.organicgardenallyear.com. That's www.organicgardenallyear.com.